Hi everyone. Today we're going to ask the big question: what is mental health? Just two words, that put together create a world of discussion and debate, and two words that have become part of our everyday vocabulary. Two words that are spoken about in almost every walk of life. They're the two words on everyone's lips, from school children to CEOs, and a major talking point these days in the world of professional sport. Mental health sounds such a vast and complex issue, and yet the meaning of the words is really quite simple and straightforward. I mean, we all know what health is, don't we? And we all know the difference between good and bad health. So what's so complicated about the meaning of the word mental? Back in our school days, we used to do mental arithmetic. No pens and paper were required for this. We worked the maths problems out in our heads. We had to think the problem through. It could have been called thinking arithmetic, because anything mental relates to your thinking, your mind. It's as simple as that. So mental health could be called thinking health. Logically, yes. And thinking health could be termed healthy thinking. That's all mental health really is. Healthy thinking. Thinking healthily. You're thinking healthily. So how do we think healthily? What constitutes healthy thinking? Well, let's think about what constitutes healthy eating or a healthy diet. Quite simply, removing the junk and the additives. The junk, in this case, being all the thinking you have absolutely no control over, and the additives being your incredible, playful imagination. Now, people spend so much of their thinking time caught up in their imagination that they begin to think that it's all real. The best example of this is when you start to think about what someone else might be thinking about you. Firstly, you have no control over what someone else is thinking. It's not really your business anyway, is it? I mean, is it anyone else's business to know what you are thinking? I doubt it. So if you have no control over what someone else is thinking, how can you possibly be in any control of what that someone might be thinking, or could be thinking, or should be thinking, or could have thought, or should have thought, or may well think, or may well not think? This is where your imagination is coming into play. And it gives you scenarios of what someone might be thinking. But these are all invented by you. You've made them up. They're not real. So are they really worth thinking about? By just removing some of this junk, as I call it, from your thinking, you can free up some space for thinking about things that you are in control of. Freeing up space and decluttering that busy mind. Healthy thinking is all about you realizing when it's your imagination at work. And so you don't dwell on scenarios that simply don't exist. Basically, we all get caught up from time to time in what some refer to as thinking traps. I covered these traps in a podcast way back in July of 2024. And just briefly, the traps are the mind reader who thinks that they know what someone else is thinking, the fortune teller who thinks they know what's going to happen, the doubter who thinks that things will never really quite work out, the generalizer who thinks that things always happen or never happen to them, There's the victim who thinks that only bad things ever happen to them and only to them. There's the judge who is always giving opinions about other people's behaviors and thinking that their own is always better. The self-critic who is always putting him or herself down, thinking it could always be better. And the perfectionist who thinks that anything less than what they deem to be perfection simply isn't good enough. Then there's the catastrophizer, my favorite, who manages to think in a negative fashion about just about everything. But maybe you're just that plain old overthinker who manages to dwell on your thoughts and allow that incredible imagination of yours to play what we might call havoc with those thoughts. And in doing so, play havoc with your perception of reality. There's loads of junk and additives and unnecessary, unproductive, unhelpful, and positively unhealthy, some call it contaminated, thinking going on here in all these thinking traps. And yes, we all get trapped now and again in our thinking. But if we can start to remove some of this junk, we will simply start to see things more clearly. The only thing that we are really in control of is our own behavior, how we show up. And if that's the best that we show up, then I guess we really don't need to consider what other people may or may not think about us. We can take control of our mental health, our thinking health, our healthy, junk-free, additive-free thinking. And by being the best versions of ourselves day in and day out, we are really making the most positive start possible to being in control of that mental health, our own mental health, that mindset, our own mindset, that state of mind, our own unique state of mind. Thank you very much for listening.